Hi, I am Bopa, and this is my friend Wibon. We are originally from Battambang, but we have worked in Thailand now for 3 years. I work in construction, and Wibon works in seafood processing. We both got hired safely and legally through the MOU process, and we'd like to share our experiences with you.
So first, what is an MOU? MOU stands for Memorandum of Understanding and is an agreement between the governments of Cambodia and Thailand to connect employers in Thailand with workers in Cambodia seeking jobs. This process helps interested workers move to Thailand and work legally. The MOU process is applicable for workers aged 18 to 55 years.
Why did we choose to go through the MOU process? Being officially registered through the MOU process keeps us safe when we leave our home country. Being scammed by lying agents and forced to work without pay or work illegally are some things that can happen if you aren't registered. You are also at risk of being caught working illegally or for jobs that are not permitted for migrant workers, which results in fines and deportation.
Being registered under the MOU process gives you the same rights and benefits as Thai workers. You are protected under the law. Even during the COVID-19 pandemic, we were able to get paid from the Social Security Fund, while many non-MOU workers did not get any benefits and lost their jobs.
You may have heard the MOU process can be quite complex and involves many steps. That's why we thought it would be helpful if we gave you an insider's view, starting with how we found the job to how we prepared to leave for Thailand, and what we had to do once we were in Thailand. A few years ago, Wibon and I learned that a recruitment agency was looking for construction and fishery workers. We were interested to apply, so we verified to see if this agency was trustworthy.
To do this, we asked for the agency's license number on the job posting. We then checked this information online to make sure the agency was trustworthy. You can also call the Migrant Worker Resource Center to ask for advice, support, and legal aid free of charge.
Once we confirmed that the agency was trustworthy, we called about the job post and asked about the next steps. The agency told us they would help us make sure we have all necessary documents included on this list. The agency told us the cost for all documentation, service fees, and transportation to Thailand.
We were able to obtain some of the documents from the district office and provincial police. We had to go to the capital for some of the other documents. The agency helped us through this process. Once we had all the documents, we then had to sign the work contract. The agency sent us the contract, and we made sure to read this very carefully before signing. We even called the Migrant Worker Resource Center again to help verify. We made sure that the job responsibilities matched what we applied for. We once had an aunt who quickly signed her contract and ended up working in fisheries even though she applied for construction. The working hours are stated and do not exceed the Thai legal maximum of 8 hours per day and 48 hours per week. The wage rate is not below the legal minimum wage in that province. It is stated that we are entitled to take a break of at least 1 hour during the working day and at least 1 day off per week. Carefully reading everything can help protect us from being scammed.
After signing the contract, the agency gave us the pre-departure training and we got a certificate. Then, we were ready to leave for Thailand. Overall, it took around 6 months, from applying for the job to the departure date.
For departure, we made sure our passport had a work visa stamp on it and not a tourist visa stamp. The employment agency also got other documents from our employer and government forms needed to cross the border into Thailand.
When the employment agency took us to the border, the Thai office checked all of our documents before crossing.
Once we crossed the border into Thailand, our employer took us to the Post-Arrival and Reintegration Center run by the Department of Employment of the Ministry of Labor so that we could attend a training session on working and living in Thailand. Once we completed this training, we were given the work permit cards.
We took photos of our documents to store them in our phones. It's very important that we always have our documents at hand anywhere we go. We need to be able to prove that we are staying legally in Thailand at any point in time.
There is a phone application called Doc to Work that we used that lets us store our document photos and set up notifications to remind us when the documents are expiring. We recommend that you do this if you can. Our employers picked us up and took us to our new homes and work locations. Once we arrived, we had to do a few things.
First, our employer or landlord had to report to the immigration office within 24 hours of us arriving to our new place of living.
Your employer or landlord may ask you for your passport and personal document to report to the office. Make sure that you get these documents back after your employer or landlord has reported to the office. They are yours to have, and according to Thai law, your employer or landlord cannot keep them from you.
Second, we ourselves had to report for work at the respective employment office by our workplace. This must be done within 15 days of the first date of employment.
Thirdly, we made sure we were insured with health insurance available. For most jobs, your employer will register you in the Social Security Fund. This has to be done within 30 days of receiving the work permit. However, if you are an MOU worker in domestic work, agriculture, forestry, livestock, or nonprofit work, you are not eligible for the Social Security Fund. Instead, you must enroll in the Migrant Health Insurance Scheme. We'll tell you more about that later.
Being a part of the Social Security system means we contribute 5% of our salary every month to the Social Security Fund. Your employer will deduct that amount from your salary and send it to the Social Security office. Once your employer registers you with the Social Security office, you will have access to medical care at the specified hospital. You can access medical care for free, even for injuries or sickness unrelated to work. You will also be able to access social welfare benefits under childbirth, disability, death, childcare, elderly/retirement, and unemployment condition.
Being registered with the Social Security Fund, you will be insured under 2 different schemes. Firstly, the Remuneration Fund that provides remuneration upon your injury due to work. And secondly, the Social Security Fund that will provide you with 7 benefits set forth in the fund regulation. However, you can only get these benefits from the Social Security Fund after being a part of the system for 3 full months. This means that for the first 3 months, you are not insured. To be safe during this time, you must enroll in the Migrant Health Insurance Scheme. Then, once your Social Security card starts, you can end the health insurance. If you are in the industries that I mentioned earlier that are not eligible for Social Security, then you would continue to have this health insurance.
To apply for health insurance, simply prepare your documents, book a visit to a nearby hospital to get a health checkup and a medical certificate, and submit the application.
At this point, Bopa can now start working. However, if you are a fisher working on vessels, You will also have to apply for a special document called Seabook, which makes sure you can get access to assistance while on a trip at sea.
Being an MOU worker allows you to work safely and legally in Thailand, but you must make sure that you regularly report to Thai authorities as needed. Make sure you report to the local immigration office every 90 days so that the Thai government knows that you are still working here.
Keep track of your documents and make sure to renew them before they expire. Once they expire, you may become an illegal worker. You can use the Doc to Work application to set expiry notifications. There are different expiry dates for each document. For example, the work permit expires in 2 years, while the Seabook expires in 1 year. For more information, please see the links we have attached with this video.
Overall, being an MOU worker requires multiple steps. However, it does allow you to work legally and makes sure you are safe, especially during emergency situations like the pandemic. As an insured MOU worker, I was able to get unemployment benefits during COVID-19.
To keep track of policy changes, be sure to follow the Mayday Line Group chat for news updates. Remember, you can also use the Doc to Work application to store your documents, set document expiry alerts, and check if you are being overcharged for recruitment costs.
When working abroad, nothing is more important than protecting your rights. Following these steps can reassure your protection in many ways.
We hope that these videos help you move forward safely. For more information on the MOU process, feel free to see more information in the description box below.